About to drop a hot take that'll shake the heavens. Behind only arguably Momo, Mei Hatsume is the most useful female character in the entire verse. Before Aoyama's review of chapter 339 of My Hero Academia, please do me a favor, leave your own thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you aren't already. Also, make sure that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? I got a pencil here, and here we are, review chapter 339 of My Hero Academia, which is known as the story of how we became heroes, part 2. So, we are on this motif now. Horikoshi, I don't know, like I said last chapter, I'm kind of not rocking with it. Like, at least give it subtitles, right? Like, if you're going to have the main title be that, give it some darn subtitles. It's kind of whack. But let's hop right into the chapter itself. Before we hop into the chapter itself, we got to address something. My Hero Academia is apparently ending this year. Oh, well. I know a lot of other people are like, no. And to be fair, I'm like, no. Because I like reviewing My Hero Academia. I think the art's great. I hope Horikoshi does more things after he sleeps. Please let the man sleep. Let him rest. Horikoshi, I know you got money now. Like, Horikoshi, I know you're a starving mangaka, but still, please get some rest, my boy. And then you can come back and make some more, because honestly, your art style is too far. Like, I can't let you go now. Like, you gave me Oguramakizu, you gave me My Hero Academia, and even if I have many problem with how you write characters, and many problems with your story, doesn't matter. The art's too fire, and a lot of your characters are too fire. So I might need this run back, okay? Even if you end My Hero Academia, can't wait to see you come back with something else, no matter how long it takes. But My Hero Academia is ending this year. That means we probably got about 40 chapters left, including like breaks and stuff like that. Maybe a lot more than that. Maybe like 45 or something like that. But we aren't gonna get a full 52 chapters. So I'm intrigued to see how quick he's ready to end this up. But enough of like the news, the general stuff. Let's hop into the chapter itself. So we open up and we do get to see that Mei. Is her hairstyle different? No, I think it's just that it's up. Like, I don't think I've ever seen the ponytail design before. And it's still weird. Like, I'm not sure what they're supposed... I don't think they're supposed to be dreads. I think we've seen... Have we seen an MHA character with dreads? I think we have. I don't think they're supposed to be dreads. I think they're literally just lumps. Like, I'm not sure what her hair is supposed to be. It's always confused me artistically, right? Like, Midoriya is canonically supposed to have curly hair, and you can kind of get that by looking at it. But I have no idea what Hatsume's round head lumps are supposed to be, other than, like, aberrant mutations. But hey, it'd be like that when it be like that sometimes. But we hop in and we get to see that well, Midoriya's danger sense didn't activate because I'm not allowed to say that. Like, there's so many things I'm not allowed to say. But you know what happened. You know what happened last chapter. You know what I did. You know that I'll admit, like. Yo, God, I don't need the comment section. Last chapter for the thumbnail. I'm glad y'all did that. But still, we see that the guys, they obviously came here to get their costumes repaired. Ida needs it because, you know, he was launched at supersonic speeds to go catch up to Midoriya. And Midoriya needs it because, I don't know, he's built like a ragdoll now. His whole costume got destroyed, worn down, bada bing, bada boom. And Mei asks a shockingly normal question. She's like, not gonna lie. You normally put in a request to an item agency. What's Gucci geeking right now? Why are you coming and bothering me? And Ida's like, well, don't know. If you're aware of the world state right now, I know you apparently haven't left this place. Yeah, everything's shut down. What do you want us to do? We get to see that it seems like she's clueless about the state of the world, and I want like. Other than for stalling, I'm not exactly sure why she's like that. I mean, it leads to a little mini payoff in the chapter itself, but she knows what she's building for. And I'm kind of, it's weird, right? But then we get to see another character come out the clutch. It's Power Loader. And I mean, I know he doesn't do much, but I feel like you should be out there helping. But like, I'm pretty sure it was an anime only scene. But didn't he like go up against Ida and Ojiro in that one filler scene where you had like this gigantic mech? Like, you couldn't make some of those, or maybe like go around and help yourself. Like, probably the mech could get broken down by a strong enough villain, but I feel like it'd just be good to have around. You know what I'm saying? But Power Loader welcomes them into the shop, which is just hectic, and I actually really do like it. It shows how each part of UA is doing its own thing, right? Because you have a lot of the pro here. Well, now I think about it, Not really, but the pro heroes that aren't injured are out there doing their thing. Pro heroes are part of UA. You have the students preparing for battle, which is something that they're needing to do. They're training up. They're getting ready. They're getting their gains up. You know what I'm saying? They're taking care of that. And obviously you have Class B, which we haven't seen, but assumably they're training. They're getting ready for the next bout too. The final bout, if you will, on some GT stuff. But then we have the support department. And they're doing their jobs. They're supporting. And I actually, for some reason, I didn't expect this. I thought like they would be holed up and maybe evacuated somewhere too. But I guess who else would build the support barrier outside of the people who work in tech? So I'm glad that Horikoshi did this, even if it was something that I wasn't really thinking of. That was really good. I guess you would say it's utilization of resources, right? Like if you're going to introduce something in a narrative as big as the world is being destroyed as we know it, you got to put every single group that has its use to use. And despite not seeing May and May and her entire department really in possibly 100 like the last major thing I remember May doing was giving him the Air Force gloves. And that was like way back with Gentle. And of course, I'm probably missing something, but still, that's a long time. So for Horikoshi to think of something like this, even if it was just like an on the fly thing, it's a great utilization of resources. I really like what he did there. And then we get to see that Power Loader and essentially the entire support department is responsible for the research and development of the UA defense barrier and also the upkeep of it. So that's a very important task that they're keeping up, because if the UA defense barrier ever falls, they're all screwed. And once again, notably, I still think the UA defense barrier is kind of a joke, right? Because sure, it'll keep out your average slobber knocker, if you will. Like it'll keep out your, I wouldn't even say it keeps out your musculars. Musculars swole, but it'll keep out your stains. I wouldn't even say if like Prime Overhaul rolled up to the UA defense barrier, I think it'd be screwed too. But like any of your major villains, like All For One walks up, touches the ground, you're done, son. Like your whole system, it's done, my boy. Like I know they said, oh, we separate. Like there's a big long explanation of why Decay wouldn't initially work, but on this sheer like defense front, UA is still just a sitting duck. Like all Shigaraki has to do is hop in the hole that you leave behind and chase after you, and it's not going to be that complicated for him. But they do what they do. And we get to see that May actually recognizes the mid gauntlets that Midoriya is wearing. And I wonder, like, they were prototypes. How does she know that? I guess she just is on the research uptake, I suppose. I don't know. That was a weird thing in the chapter where I'm like, wait, weren't those like special, hard to procure items? But she's a tech person, so she probably knows the latest tech. And then we get to see that, yeah, even Midoriya says that these were prototypes from overseas. I can't restock. So how'd you even know about that? Like she knew well, maybe Midoriya told her. I'll just give him that. And we see that May is like, okay, you want me to repair these? Is it a rush job? Like, is this something you really need me to do like in 2 seconds? And Midoriya makes this really dark face. And it's like, I wish, like, I've been listening to, I've been hopping on a lot of other people's podcasts and their other reviews to hear about what like the common YouTube analytical or just general reviewing stuff census is on like the current pacing and like Midoriya's character and just general MHA manga stuff, right? Because I know the anime, I think it recently ended, if not. It recently ended a while ago, and everyone's excited for season 6 of the war arc. But I was like trying to get a zeitgeist of how we feel right now about everything that's going on in the manga. And a lot of people are like, they kind of like me in the sense that they're a little bit disappointed, or well, I'm more than a little bit, but they're disappointed in certain things being rushed. And I think this whole like darker looking Midoriya panel only to instantly cut to a joke with May, that like sums up the entirety of like Villain Hunt arc in the now. Like, great design, great potential, whole ton of stuff like that, but had to be cut short, had to be done in the same page. Like there was no way that we could keep things serious and dark for a little bit too long because shonen. And it's an interesting thing. I don't know. I happen to know. We get to see May's like, not gonna lie, she doesn't have the time, the materials, or anything that she can do to make it up from scratch because, hey, they just can't do it. Like if you don't have the materials or the time or the ability, you can't do something. And then we get to see that May literally can't do anything for either of them. Like she can't remake his armor because she doesn't have the basic specs for it, and 2, she can't actually remake his gauntlets because of everything else that was already stated. And notably, we get to see that some random dudes that we'll never see again are willing to help them out and start to remake their stuff, because Hatsume is focused on like keeping everyone safe and stuff like that in her way, which is building little gadgets and support items in order to help save the world. And I think that's pretty cool that UA is utilizing a young genius like her, and notably not in the same way that they're utilizing the kid heroes, as in they're sending them off as essentially child soldiers, because you gotta, but in the sense that they're allowing someone as creative and as explosive as Mei is in terms of innovation, technology, understanding, and skill set to go nuts. Like, they're just saying, here, all the resources we have, all the time we have, all you, just go wild. And I think that's great, because it shows like a slow progressive shift away from the old idea of society that is presented in My Hero Academia, that we stick with the old way and we'll let it work. Even if this isn't frontline combat stuff, they're letting a new person do their due in terms of their work, and I think that's great. And we get to see that Mei is so willing to push everything because this is just what she does. This is the idea of any idea can work, and you got to get to working on it immediately. You got to raise it right, and I think it's a really good, like, it's a nice little message. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, low-key looking like, see, I can't say that because like I think everyone's still 16. So this is weird. Well, to be fair, we know who best girl is. It's Maruko. I'm gonna keep calling her Maruko because Mirko is a weird name. I'm not gonna stop. But we get to see that everything is laser focused. Well, no, Midoriya is like, oh, you're laser focused on everything here because it's just what you are. You don't care about the outside world, right? And if we see that Mei is like, really? Like, I know I wasted time earlier in the chapter and page time pretending like I didn't know what was going on outside, but please don't be stupid. Of course I know what's going on outside. That's why I'm building the UA defense barrier. And it's like a really nice clapback that I wasn't expecting. Like, once again, I don't know why Horikoshi wastes time early in the chapter with the whole, like, possibility, does she know, does she not know, other than, jokes. But I'm glad Mei has this awakening where, like, for the first time, well, not necessarily the first time in the manga, but for a moment, you see her calm down, right? Like, her eyes, like, soften. And while she's still saying, like, he's dense and using all these references and stuff like that, she knows everything that's going on, and she's doing her best to tackle it in the only way she can, by building, by helping, by creating. And I think it's a really nice thing, right? Like, once again, Horikoshi, utilization of resources. He's taking every single character in their respective role and using them to their appropriate end, and even giving me a moment, like, not gonna lie. Look left, look right, look up, look down. Yeah, I know every Uraga fan is just gonna, like, I'm gonna get a message one day. Like, I'm just gonna be like, why did you do this to my girl? But this moment right here, and everything Mei has done, is substantially more than anything Uraraka has done in the entire series. I said it. Outside of saving Midoriya once, which was her own fault anyway, because she was in trouble. Mei's just done more. She's backpacking right now. She's done so much in this series that I really respect. Like, for a character that shows up maybe a total of 5, 6, 7, if I'm pushing it, in individual times in the manga and not like continuous runs or spans, she's backpacked a lot. Like, Midoriya couldn't beat Gentle without her invention. A lot of her inventions are currently saving the entire UA populace right now, even if I think it's kind of useless. So she literally, at the very end of this chapter, rebuilds and improves two separate suits. Like, she's just that gal, and I respect that. And I love how in this moment, like, while she has this like nice pure moment of inventing stuff is how the support course does heroics, and she just instantly yeets back the gauntlets, which now have, it's an interesting combo, right? Because she reformed the mid gauntlets and then put on the gloves for Air Force that Midoriya didn't have access to back in the original Villain Hunt arc. So now he has both, meaning he's going to be able to use higher percentages while still having access to Air Force, which is now a new extension to his arsenal. Though I think I mean, Air Force isn't entirely nullified by Black Whip, but I think Midoriya's applications of Black Whip kind of, I mean, no, because he doesn't feel anything with Black Whip. Maybe Air Force is better if you just want like a sole ranged attack without like grappling or getting in close with your opponent. Because I feel like maybe Black Whip could be manipulated if your opponent's like almost as strong as you. They could like grab you and throw you into a building too. Meanwhile, with Air Force, they just have to like block or dodge these random pellets of air. So I think Air Force is going to be pretty useful, especially with all the other, with the entire kit that Midoriya has now. And I think it's pretty darn cool, especially the fact that she did it all with her left hand. Apparently, that's pretty impressive. And notably, she also did Ida's armor, and she did this all in a matter of like, let's see, she sits down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages. So probably a matter of minutes at most. And bada bing, bada boom, they're back to normal. Like, unfortunately, the two side characters we'll never see didn't even get to help because she's just that gal, unfortunately. And we see that her final line within this chapter before we cut back to the rest of the class is, let's win this. Because that's what this is all about in the very end. It's about winning the war against the tide of villainy. And I'm excited for it. I'm very excited for it. And then we get to see that everyone, after a little training, after a little rest, they're prepared and ready. And once again, we get to see Mount Lady, a character who, once again, honestly, Horikoshi got some sleepers in there. He has some sleepers in there. I'm not gonna lie, because Mount Lady is also a character who, if you told me I'd come to respect her as much as I did by this point in the manga when I first read chapter 1, I wouldn't believe you. But now I really do respect her. Like, she took the hit when the kids needed her to in the whole Kamino incident. And then she's, once again, she's one of the few heroes that's out there fighting. Despite her originally all being about the fame, she's out here still defending people, even though she's been brutally battled at. Well, not brutally, but still, she has a scar from all her hard work. And she didn't run away when the opportunity was presented to her. And when so many other heroes, even heroes she worked alongside before, like Death Arms, already did. So mad respect on her name. Mad respect. And it seems like the gang, well, she says, we can't waste a single day, being completely honest. No matter what you've been through, no matter how many people betray you and how many people are suffering and in pain, we can't waste any time. We've got to go. We've got to find and mop up the Liberation Front and the League of Villains. Snippety snap. We got to go get them. And reasonably, I mean, that's the thing, right? Because, not gonna lie, kind of like Class 1A to Midoriya, the League of Villains and the Liberation Front, while they are big small-time messes, Shigaraki, with All For One possessing him, and All For One's main body itself, this is gonna sound wild, but if you, like, pluck Midoriya out of the equation, even with Shigaraki's quote-unquote nerf from Stars and Stripes, which we don't really know what did, I still think they could arguably just solo the verse. Like, Dabi isn't needed, Toga isn't needed, Spinner isn't needed. Like, I don't know, there's no real, I mean, Gigantomachia may be the only, like, major differentiator, but he's already captured and subdued, so I'm not sure if they're going to break him out or something. Maybe want to go stop that, like, up security there. But in terms of, like, big, bad, we are in trouble threats, you got two. And two that'll readily bop the entire verse if need be. So you may not want to just focus on gathering them. I still think, despite how much of a waste of time it's been, you gotta find All For One and Shigaraki quickly. Because if you can stop them before they activate, then you're in a much better standing than, trying to contain the aftermath of an explosion. And then we get to see, and like, they're still talking about Aoyama, right? And I'm very much on the whole Aoyama, you got to go, my boy. And like, a lot of y'all were great, right? Like, y'all convinced me and helped me believe, like, it's not Aoyama's fault, right? Like, you gotta blame the parents mostly because they were the ones that dragged Aoyama into this situation, so on and so forth. I still think there are other ways Aoyama could have done things so that he wouldn't be risking his friends' lives, but hey, We'll go into that at a later time. I'll make a separate video talking about the whole traitor thing and how I have mixed feelings on it, essentially. But now we get to see that Midoriya has faith that Aoyama will come back, and I don't know. because we get to see that. Yeah, like, okay, part of me wants to ignore it, but like the chapter is kind of low-key shoving it in my face, so I gotta talk about it. I simply must. So, according to Todoroki, he thinks it'll be fine because he claims Aoyama has always had his sights set on the man he wants to be more than any of us. Shoto, my boy, my man, have you met Midoriya? Have you met Ida? Have you met yourself? Like, have you met Bakugo? More than anyone else? The man... I gotta go into it in a separate video. Just know I don't like what Todoroki says here, because it doesn't make sense. I don't know why they're... Like, I get it. He was a close confidant and friend. For no one. Who did Aoyama talk to? That's the main issue, right? With the whole trader thing in general. There was nothing. There was like... Unless it was a major character, no one had enough screen time that would have readily convinced me that everyone would feel bad. And Aoyama just wasn't that dude. Neither was Hagakure, neither was Toru, neither was Denki. I mean, maybe you could argue Kaminari would have had more of an impact just because of he's tied into the whole Baku squad and stuff like that. Like, that's fine. Kirishima would have been great. I mean, it would have made no sense at all because we've already seen Kirishima laid bare. But would have been better. I don't know. Aoyama just doesn't seem like the kind of character that I think someone as like detached and uncaring for a character like Aoyama, such as Shoto Todoroki, would be slobbering all over. And you know exactly what I mean. Like, why are y'all riding Aoyama so great? Like, he's this perfect, amazing dude. He almost got y'all killed. But regardless of that, we get to see that they are ready to get on the hunt. They're ready to search for that boy. Well, not that boy, but the gang in the League of Villains and the Paranormal Liberation Front. There's my English. And we get to see... Why couldn't she be scarred? Oh, I know y'all are like, what? Pencil, what are you talking about? Nejire, who still doesn't have it. Is Nejire her hero name? Did I miss, like, yo, someone in the comment section, if y'all still here, is someone in the comments, could someone tell me if Nejire is her hero name, or Horikoshi just never gave her one? Because, like, I'm confident it's never gave, because he just didn't care enough, but, like, and see, there's some cool thing. Like, I like that her suit, to some degree, is still burned, because, obviously, she couldn't get it properly repaired. I like how Tamaki's suit is still mostly in tatters. Like, everyone's still dusted up, but she got literally lit on fire. I'm pretty sure she literally had burn marks on her face, and you couldn't scar her up. Like, the hair can grow back, the scars wouldn't leave. Like, I feel like it would have worked. Like, if you're gonna give her nothing, give her a physical design change outside of a haircut. Come on now, Horikoshi, please. I know she's not important, and like, I'm not sure where Lemillion is, but where is he? Like, Mirio, my boy, I hope you pop up or something, because everyone and their mother said it. Mirio did not need to return. You could have just kept him out of the narrative at this point. Because now I'm just wondering where he is. Because he was so close to being the number one hero, greater than anyone else, back when All Might was around. So I feel like he should be more important right now. But hey, be like that wouldn't be like that sometimes. So we get to see that just these guys are focusing on Shiketsu High. Like, they're on probably like the other side of the nation, centralizing and saving people so they can all get there. And it looks like we found Nezu's mom, because that's a rat person. But regardless, this is all building up because they're saving more people, which is good, but they're running into less people, which is bad because their information network is getting smaller and smaller the more people they save, and their little nests of hostages are just getting bigger and bigger every single time they save somebody, every single time they relocate somebody. Ooh, yo, that'd be so cool. Yo, wait. I mean, I'm not sure if Horikoshi would do this, because I think he probably wouldn't. But can you imagine, there are 2 all-for-ones, and there are 2 main bases for the heroes in Shiketsu and UA. So imagine the all-for-one main body goes to Shiketsu, and the new all-for-one body in Shigaraki goes to UA. And you have this almost like 2-front war, and like they're That'd be heat. I'm going to talk about that. That's the end of the video. But regardless, sorry, I don't know why I just like geeked out so hard. y'all didn't deserve that. But I just thought about that. I think that'd be so cool because we have the two locations. But as All Might says himself, gone are the days of slinging sneak attacks and raids at each other. Now it's the opposite. Both sides are pulling out all the stops, gearing up for a true blue all-out war on every front. So, about our plan B, let's review the key info about the other battle that could decide it all. And I don't know what that is. I think actually maybe like the plan B they could have with Aoyama. I think we cut away from that too. So I'm assuming the plan B will become the plan A. That's how they're going to win it all. But hey, it was like, my gripes aside with certain things in this chapter, still a super solid chapter. It had it had a lot of juicy meat stuffed into it. I'm not gonna lie, I did not think I was gonna talk about this chapter for that long, but looking at the recording time, I've been here for 25 minutes. So this chapter that has so much in it, from the recovery to the explanation of Mei's role, the explanation and the elaboration on the whole technical side of UA's role, the showing of a heroine that I didn't expect to respect, but now I respect a lot, showing up, guiding our new generation into the battle for literally life and death, like the battle for the world itself. That's hype. The new mid gauntlets, that's hype. Everything. I just don't like the Aoyama stuff. That's what's going to drop this chapter down to a 9 out of 10, but everything else in this chapter is hype. Even though I wish Midoriya got some burn scars. Like, I kind of was hoping she looked like Shoto. Was that mean? I kind of want her to be, like, if Dalby's was going CRISPR, should have crisped her better, bro. All she got was a haircut. But regardless of that, super great chapter. Honestly, solid 9 out of 10. Just that I'm only taking the 1 point off because of all my miniature gripes. Like, individually, my gripes are not worth a point in terms of taking off a rating, but in terms of everything stacking together into one super mega point, I'm taking it off, all right? But those are my thoughts on the chapter. Please tell me your thoughts on the chapter in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.